Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the zoo. The minion with me this evening, at least thus far, is Tyr.
What up?
We will be joined by Adam here shortly, and perhaps also get joined by Inquisitor if work is quiet enough on his end for him to hop in. So, how are you doing tonight, Tyr?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing fairly good. Oh, I forgot to say, and of course, as it is once again a Friday, I am the keeper for this evening, Sanguine. But yeah, I'm doing grand. I just finished plating up my dinner, except I'm now deciding what sort of beer I want to drink with it.
Well, I can't help you there, my friend. Remember to leave my plate out. I'll come through the front door, but remember I gotta leave through the back. I just gotta leave through the back.
Yep, that tends to be the way that you prefer to do it, but just to let everyone know, and I think I've decided I'm going to go for a Dangerous Man Brewing Steampunk.
Ah,
It's a nice malty beer that isn't too heavy either.
okay.
So it'll pair nicely with the curry that I have for dinner tonight. But dinner tonight, for everyone else, I've already told you, but might as well let everyone else in on what dinner is a shrimp and chickpea curry over basmati rice, and then the Dangerous Man Brewing's Steampunk as the night's libation.
Sweet.
And it will all be absolutely fucking delicious. Because I have naturally been tasting throughout the process of making this dinner, and each component, oh good God.
Again, leave my plate on the table. I'll leave the money. Go out into the front. Go out the back.
Mm-hmm.
But we were talking about Black Myth Wukong earlier, and Deathborn and all that shit.
Yep, how everyone's been absolutely loving Black Myth Wukong thus far, except for the people that keep on producing really shit games. They hate it.
All right, so
Hello, Inquisitor.
What up, Quiz?
Hello.
We were just about to enter into the first topic of the night, which is the reception of Black Myth Wukong, and how everyone's been absolutely loving it, except for the people that have been saying that people just hate good games now. They seem to be rather upset that people like Black Myth Wukong.
There's no DEI or woke bullshit in it.
Yep. It's a
And
game
it's
the fact that
without
any black people?
It's the fact that the developers snubbed the Black Sweet Baby extortion.
Yep.
And they should have.
Yeah.
But you know what gets me? All right, so people are that side. I'm not saying people that side who hate good games. Oh, there's not enough women in it. Well, there wouldn't be because Trippy Taka's Journey to the West. There weren't a lot of women. I think it was the Boar Queen. Was the Boar Queen?
There were a handful of female characters, but they were mainly
Ancillary
characters that popped up for one section and then moved through.
Yeah, they weren't there for a long period.
The major thing that a lot of people are, I guess, would be a good, thing to remind these people of is the fact that it is, made by a Chinese company that's trying to be authentic to the Chinese myth. And story. So,
All right, so a while back, now I'm a big fan of the Romance of Three Kingdoms. I can debate that story 100 ways from Sunday, and I would never get bored talking about it. So ages ago, Creative Assembly did their Three Kingdoms game. Now it's the only Three Kingdoms game that's not Three Kingdoms, but they added a whole shit ton of female characters that did not exist anywhere in the story. Now there was two females that did show up on the battlefield. That was Zhu Rong when she fought with the Nam Man, and she was like captured almost immediately. The moment she appeared, she got captured. But she did lead a force, and then I think it was Kai Wangi, and she didn't have a whole bunch of shit either. And like every other female character was either a princess who didn't fight or somebody's wife. So,
and there's a reason for that, because at that time, that was what it was.
yeah, women didn't like. If you saw a woman on the battlefield, she was either a major siege, and like they either had to.
Everything's fucked for the people that are fielding
Yep.
women, or there are certain female characters that have popped up throughout history where they are the badass girl boss moment, which for some fucking reason people don't goddamn tell their stories, despite saying, well, we want females in historical works. Okay, tell the story of the pirate queen of China.
Tell the story of Boudica. Tell it like Captain the Great. Like technically, God, all the wars she waged, and she's a rag to riches story.
Do a World War II movie about Ludmila Pavlichenko.
Oh, the female sniper.
Yeah, the what was she called? It was like the
Maiden
Shadow of Death or the Maiden of Death. Yeah, it was something like that.
Fuck,
but she was
every
trying
now and then you get
Vasily Zaitsev.
Every now and then you get like one or two, female historical figures that like badass warriors that are legit and do get like representation. Like Joan of Arc has.
Yeah, Joan of Arc is...
do a story about her. Like, technically, she did lead the French forces to victory
against the English. Yeah,
yeah. She was the Maid of Orleans. Like, and that's a reason why women like her are remembered, because they are rare. And when history records them,
welcome, Adam. Sorry again, I forgot to hit enter.
What up, Mr. Adam?
No, how's it going, Adam?
What up? What up?
But when history records them, it's because they are that special.
They are significant. Yes.
Yes. And
there's what was the? I want to say it was during the Revolutionary War. A woman became famous because she went to bring water to her husband, who was manning a cannon. When he had been fighting the entire fucking day, he passes the fuck out. She quickly pulls him off to the side, gets him water. The battle starts moving forward. She starts manning the fucking cannon as her husband's coming to again.
Yeah, again, history is littered with exceptional women.
Yep.
And then you got women like...
You're referring to, by the way, Molly Pitcher.
Yeah.
Then you got women like Cleopatra, who used her feminine wiles to, use her femininity to secure her place in history.
Well, it was mainly at the exploitation of Mark Antony, but
Yeah, but
and
still,
haven't you heard that Cleopatra was a black woman that fought on the front lines?
No, she and telling that story in that way takes away from her badassness.
I can't remember the name of the battle, but it was at sea, and it was her and Mark Antony versus Augustus, and Cleopatra.
He wasn't Augustus at that. I don't think he was Augustus at that point.
He wasn't known as Augustus, but the man who would be Augustus.
Yeah.
But she personally ran her own vessel into the main vessel of the Romans, and a maneuver
And
that's
still
never been
lost.
seen before. No, it's in the whole thing has been written down.
No, it was to break a siege, but she didn't break the siege. It was a blockade. It was to break the blockade, but she still didn't break the blockade, and she fled. Like
Yeah,
she
but
had to flee the battle.
it was a bad Star Wars reference. But
Yeah, what she
go ahead.
ended up doing was, if she hadn't done it, then her forces would have been crushed then, effectively. But by doing it, she turned an abject loss into
A passable retreat.
less than an abject loss.
She turned an annihilation into a pyrrhic defeat.
Yep. Into
Like
we'll fall back, we'll regroup, and we're still in this fucking fight.
yeah, like we have enough forces to fight, to make a stand of it. But this sea battle is fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
So
there's so many women that you can actually tell stories about and have them be accurate. The one that I always bring up, if you want a black queen during antiquity that was
the Queen of Nubia.
the Queen of Nubia.
Amos. I forget how to spell her name.
Amani Renas, if I
There it
remember
is.
correctly. If you want someone who did lead soldiers, because there are records of her leading the Kushite forces.
Can I tell my favorite part of that story really quick?
Go.
So Rome was like, you know what? Because Rome at that point was like conquering everything south of Egypt. And they were like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just make you a tributary. You just send this gold and we'll go the fuck home. You're a client state. Go away. just stop it. They pushed back Rome.
Mm-hmm. There's legitimate female heroes from history.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that you could do is there's the quasi-mythologized Vietnamese sisters. I'm trying to remember what their name was.
Really quickly, I read in the book, you can tell a lot by the culture, by the gods they keep.
Mm-hmm.
There were important, like in every mythology, women are incredibly important.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have those warrior gods, like goddesses, like Sekhmet. Fucking in the myth, she almost wiped out Egypt.
You have Durga and Kali in Hindu mythology. But
important women.
It was the Trung sisters of Vietnam, because Han China in the early hundreds, it was 40 CE, BCE, whichever term you want to fucking use. I don't give a shit. Or sorry, not BCE. It's CE or 80. Either term fucking works. Pick your term. But the Han Empire had expanded into Vietnam, and these two sisters ended up working together, leading a rather large rebellion and doing some fairly serious damage.
Yeah.
That's a story that you could tell. But again, for some reason, they don't take times and events where there aren't really many massively important women, and they'll go, well, we need to have more women here.
Yeah. Why? And I brought up the creative assembly thing because they created two women. Like they created a woman character just to fill out a sort of quota. When there wouldn't be none. She was the character being referenced was a fucking dream had by one of the main villains.
Mm-hmm.
it. You don't have to shoehorn women into everything. There are
Well, I mean,
stories where, but
that's part of the problem is the fact that we can talk about this with history, and then even in fiction they're doing this. The
yes,
major thing for the big push for female custodians in Warhammer 40K was
God,
believed
don't bring that up.
because it's believed because Amazon was pushing for female custodians, and why?
You
Because
have the Sisters of Battle,
wanted
Adeptus Sister.
well, they wanted women in power armor. And then someone came up and said, hey, there's Battle Sisters. That's perfectly in canon. But they said that Battle Sisters were too religious.
The custodians are literally too religious then.
That's usually how it works, though. Is there's higher ups who just want to see something, and that's what they envision. It's the Kevin Smith giant robotic spider story. It's I don't care how you fit it into Superman. I want to see a giant spider thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and that's what this is. I don't care how you do it. Just I want to see this.
Yes. It's the producers. It's what I like to call the terminal case of upper management.
But see that again, even with all that, you can find if you respect the lore. Again, you using the 40K, you have the Sisters of Battle, the Adeptus Sororitas, you have the I can't remember all the sister orders, but you have those female warriors. You have those females already built in, and they have I forget the one where the woman is strapped inside the power mech, and she just fucking fights and sings all day as a means of atoning for her sin.
Oh, you're talking about there's two of them now. One of them is just a sinner. It's not actually a battle sister, but it's they're called penitent engines are the general ones. But the ones that are actually specifically battle sisters that are trapped inside of those is called a mortifier.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking about. What is more badass? You see the Smurfs running around, but you see the mortifier coming, and all she's doing is singing the praises of the God Emperor as she's destroying shit.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Adeptus Sororitas who are praying, and then out of nowhere they go into a battle frenzy.
Well, I mean, see that's the thing is that I've said it for a million times is that the Battle Sisters are, in my opinion, way more interesting than Space Marines because they're just normal women. They're not genetically enhanced at all. They're just in power armor and they pray and can actually perform miracles on the battlefield.
Yes, or they like I said, they enter a battle frenzy, they just start fucking shit up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got
you got the Repentia or the big ones because they believe that they have sinned, so they ritualistically doff their power armor. So they're just in rags. They chain an eviscerator to their hands, and they seek redemption on the battlefield in death.
Yes,
that's badass.
Again, you have women, you have built-in female characters. You have built-in.
So what you're saying is either always have them attached to the Kree or never have them attached to the Kree.
Do you know the new Lord of the Rings, like the Ride of the War of the Rohirrim, somehow has a female lead character when in the myth she does nothing.
Yep. Well, people were so pissed off about that. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, no, I was gonna. Well, pretty much, probably what you were gonna say, or at least I don't know. No, I saw that they released a trailer, and I saw that it was animated, and then so I still haven't seen the full trailer because it started off with like a bunch of, and now from the Lord of the Rings, a different tale of the Rohirrim, brought to you by blah blah blah, and I was like, okay, I can't watch this at work right now.
And just the way that you started that off, was anyone else expecting Rohirrim on ice?
I was. It's like it's like when they change. My favorite. Now again, I point this out. Now, if I change my avatar to my favorite one, the one I currently use for damn near everything, you will instantly know why I love this character.
Baron
I'm
Samedi?
I'm a big Penguin fan. Like the Penguin, he's my favorite villain. And when they changed him to Oswald the Cobblepot, I wanted to kill something.
Did you see her fantastic dance routine?
No, because I hated the episode and they didn't need to change. Oh, we don't have enough female villains. Again, you have Black Cat.
Are you kidding me?
You have Catwoman.
Female villains.
You have Talia. You have Baby Doll. You could have used Baby Doll. Mm-hmm. You have Red Claw. You have Rocket. I think it's the Rocketeer. I cannot remember whether she's the Rocketeer.
Roxy Rocket.
Roxy Rocket. There it is. You have Roxy Rocket. You have go ahead.
I think what the issue is what is no, but I think the issue pretty much falls on try not to use it falls on companies seeing the success of some superhero movies and trying to emulate it, but they're still following the same old Hollywood movie tropes where they're not interested in the source material. Again, there's stories that they could just pull from and they can just rework it to work on a screen, but they don't want they don't even want to do that. Again, you're getting egos with directors and producers that want to inject their own bullshit into it because again they want to make money off of it and say, hey, that was for me.
That was my idea. And I'll say this about Cape Crusader, just in a nutshell. There's a reason why Bruce Timm needed Paul Dini. Just saying.
Yeah, but you know what gets me?
Paul Dini was the brains. Bruce Timm was the artist.
You know, again, you don't have to. There are certain characters that shouldn't be elevated. Like Harley Quinn is an overrated fucking henchman.
I like Harley Quinn, dude.
But she can't carry a storyline without another villain beside her.
I will say this: Harley Quinn can, like the Terry Dobson and Carl Kessel run on Harley Quinn in the early 2000s. Great comic book series. It's one of my favorites. And the thing about it is that she is an interesting enough character that she can carry a story, but there is this push to make Harley Quinn some sort of like feminist icon, or like she's a strong, independent woman who don't need no man sort of thing. She functions the best as a foil for the Joker. Even with like a story where she is the main character, she functions the best when she knows that regardless of whatever she does, she goes back to the Joker. That's why her stories are so poignant, is because she is in an abusive relationship that she cannot escape from. And
she knows she can't escape from it.
Yeah, and to fundamentally change that is to deny what makes the character great.
She is the ultimate whoopee. She is literally the ultimate whoopee.
I would be of the opinion that there's ways that you could change it, but it requires fucking earning it. And that's where they always fail. Because if you understand the character's where the character is, you understand the character's motivation, you can set up a narrative that plays with that motivation, that plays with those ideas.
Sure.
And it changes them over time. Yeah, but I'm saying you can do that and it changes them over time. The problem is that when they're trying to change her, they don't do a, here's how this happened. They just go, Harley Quinn, feminist icon, boom, done. No, that isn't Harley Quinn's character. You have to take the character. If you want the character to change, you have to take the character where they are and then show the change over time.
Hold on. Right. And going with that, and with what Quiz was saying, pretty much how they're using Harley Quinn now is just a skin suit to be able to project whatever ideal they want.
Yeah,
in terms of
exactly.
the feminism.
Exactly.
But it also reminds me of the conversations we've had where it was how to write a good Superman story. And you can write a good Harley Quinn story. You just have to really write a good character story about who Harley Quinn is.
No,
and that's what I'm saying.
What you need to do? This is what you need to do for Harley Quinn. You need to write again. Play to her who she is. She literally is this intelligent woman, but she's trapped in an abusive relationship that she knows she can't. You got to make you feel sad for her. You can't make her. You got to make people connect to her because people that have been in abusive relationships know, oh shit, see all the signs. She's going to go back to him no matter how many times, she said, I'm leaving him for good now. And something happens where she sees him and she goes, Mr. J, oh, pudding.
Yep.
No full well what he's like.
This is the thing, is that all of these things were explored in the 90s and they were fantastic.
Yep.
There's a reason why the episode Mad Love, even though it was on one of the worst received seasons of Batman the Animated Series, season 4, is hands down, or it won an Emmy, I believe it did, and it's been highly regarded for its writing. It was adapted into a comic book, and the comic book is hands down one of the most popular of the animated series comic books of all time. Mad Love is the quintessential Harley Quinn story. Now, it's also like her origin story for all of that. So, it's not like, she was already an established character long before it, but it goes into who she is as a character and why. Like, one of my favorite bits in it is at the very end, after she captures Batman and has him dead to rights, but the Joker, because he's so egotistical, can't let himself lose to Harley, right? So he comes in and he interrupts Harley, he nearly kills her. And at the very end of the episode, she's being wheeled into her cell in Arkham Asylum, and she's talking as Harleen Quinzel, saying, that's it, no more obsession, no more Joker. I finally see him for what he is, a slimy, manipulative, and then it cuts over and you see a rose in her cell with a get well soon Jay. And she goes, Angel. And I'm all like, that is what, that's what makes the character great.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That if there's ways of changing characters over time, they aren't doing that. They don't understand the character. And when you don't understand the character, you can't change the character.
Shit, you could.
It has to be an organic.
Using Batman as the example.
In order for it to be organic, it has to be you understand the character. This is why one of my favorite authors is Brandon Sanderson. Because Brandon Sanderson, I think it was Brandon Sanderson, said that the way that he writes his stories is he'll come up with the world, he'll come up with the rules for the world, he'll come up with his characters, and he'll place them in the world and see how they interact. That is to say, he isn't trying to force them to do
X, Y, Z.
Y, Z.
Yeah, he's not coming up with the narrative first. He's letting the characters organically live within the world, via his narrative. Yeah.
He said that during his writing, there are a bunch of times where he's functionally writing the story going, God damn it, God damn it, because he knows that this is how the character would react in this situation. And it's leading to something painful. It's leading to something that the character won't recover from. But because that's what the character's character is, that's what they're going to do. And that's something that a lot of authors have trouble with. It's the cardinal sin of writing, to my mind. When you have a character, you establish the character, and then in order to make the story happen, you have to break the character.
Yeah, you have to make them act out of character. And that's what I've been saying for the longest time is the reason why Marvel has fallen from grace so hard. because to me,
Yes.
like I was never a big Marvel like fan. I never really like read the Avengers or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I read the shit ton of was the X-Men. Like
Yep.
I had a pull list that had literally every X title. So
Mm-hmm.
X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, X-Force, X-Factor, Generation X. I had literally everything. Okay.
Yep.
But the big thing that made me cancel everything for the X-Men is when Civil War happened. Now, mind you, remember, like let's just think of some of the more like iconic events of the X-Men, right? You had the Mutant Registration Act that they were railing against.
Wait a minute. Were you pissed that they refused to fight?
Well, it's the fact that they joined Iron Man. In
Fuck
Civil
no!
War. Yeah.
Oh hell no! No. All right. I remember like one of my favorite events in that comic is Iron Man going to Emma Frost, who's leading the X-Men at the time, and you see the Sentinels over, just watching over the kids, and she goes, "Oh fuck no, we're not doing this fight. Where were you when our fucking children were being hunted down and shit and rounded up? Oh, nowhere. Oh, we'll keep the peace. We'll make sure that everything's good, but we're not joining in. We're not helping you."
Well, that's the thing, is that it was Cyclops that was the one that was all for joining Iron Man.
Oh fuck! See, and that break, it's like what they did with the new like X-Men '97 when they had Jean Grey being scared for her child being a mutant.
Those beeps are like Cyclops' optic blast from Terry.
Optic blast.
Optic blast. You don't get to.
He does spam attacks. Really quick, JB, you have to understand the world. In the Sandman by Netflix, they screwed up by trying to make a black female character more popular. Yes, wasn't that like the side chick he fucking tossed into the into hell because she pissed him off? She dumped him.
I do just have to say something real quick because of the optic blast. Why did you just make me picture the Team 4-star Kiko go fuck yourself only in Cyclops?
Yes,
Shinhan from Dragon Ball Z.
The bit with Cell. Yeah,
with Cell, and it's him just Kiko-hoing the ever-living fuck out of Cell, and Cell is talking shit to him.
Dude,
in the EBZA. And when it comes to him talking shit to Tien Shinhan, as Tien Shinhan is just constantly blasting him with the Kiko-ho, Tien Shinhan just goes, "Kiko, go fuck yourself, Kiko-ho," and just keeps on blasting him into the ground.
Yeah, I'm talking about Tien.
Tien.
In all fairness, Terry,
Tien Shinhan,
I still like fighting against you, even though you do.
Yeah, he does spam attack. Yeah. All right. So all right. That's another thing I hate when all right in the Sandman, the Endless are supposed to be these god level characters. Like they are gods for all intents and purposes. Death, dream, delight, delirium, despair, and fucking destruction. And I forget one. Destiny. Gods. Literally gods. And Dream is by far one of the more powerful ones of them. How is some side hoe going to be more powerful than the god of the dream?
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this. I don't know much about Sandman at all, but I did watch the Death short that they put out. It was on the Wonder Woman DVD.
I love the Endless.
Well, have you seen that short?
No.
Yeah. Oh man, I should stream it on Discord sometime and have you watch it. It is beautiful. It is hands down one of the most amazing shorts I have ever seen for DC. And there's even one about the Green Arrow, and I may put Death above it. And Green Arrow is like my favorite superhero.
I'm listening. God damn it.
But yeah, something that is constantly happening where
Mm-hmm.
people will try to write a story, but because they don't understand the character, they just entirely fuck the story beyond recognition. This is, like you mentioned earlier, I bring it up quite often, how much they fuck up Superman every time that they try to write the Big Blue Boy Scout. Because they always want to make the thing about Superman is he's an alien. That isn't even close to being the most important thing about Superman. The most important thing about Superman is he's Clark fucking Kent.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a Hollywood writer that understands that, and not to make this an entire reiteration of comic book curation, but there was one comic I highly recommend if you're even remotely interested in Superman. It's called Superman American Alien, written by Max Landis, and that comic book is fantastic. When he was promoting it, said that he wanted to tell 7 stories, because it's a 7-issue miniseries. He wanted to tell 7 stories about Clark Kent at different points in his life, and it wasn't a story about how Clark Kent becomes Superman. He said that story's already been told, and it's been told several times by people that can tell the story better than he could. He wanted to tell stories about how Clark Kent becomes Clark Kent.
And that's the most important part of who he is, which is the reason why the Snyderverse Superman is so fucking infuriating.
Because it flies in the face and has Superman acting completely out of character.
Yeah,
that's the problem that everyone has with Man of Steel.
Not just Superman, though, because Superman, the damage that they do to him, it's bad enough. They smear Ma and Pa Kent.
Yes, they do. That's the biggest one. It's like I already was perturbed a little bit enough by the fact that it was starring Kevin Costner. I don't like Kevin Costner. I think he's only been in like 1 or 2 good movies. And he is easily not the best part of that movie either. Like The Untouchables. It's clearly Sean Connery's movie, not Kevin Costner's. But anyway, Kevin Costner as fucking John Kent, right? And like you had the whole scene where he tells him not to use his powers to save people. I'm like, that is never what Pa Kent would ever do. Ever.
He fucking tells Clark that he should have let children drown. The fuck? This isn't Pa Kent. Pa Kent would have, in that situation, if you had Pa Kent in a situation where Clark says, I'm sorry, I had to do something, and I saved them, Pa Kent would first off go, good fucking on you. Why the fuck did you hesitate, though? Let's go celebrate that you did this, though. But I might have outed who I am. We'll move. Fuck it. You saved people that needed saving. That would have been a more Pa Kent response.
You use your powers to save others.
Yeah, it's the main thing that was acting completely out of character is the fact that the small town values where people are valuing their community and the people around them. And see, that's another thing that they say in the very first issue of American Alien is the fact that one of the things that happens is that Clark's powers start going like AWOL because he's like 10 years old and he doesn't realize that he can fly, and all of a sudden he starts flying and he can't control it. So the entire time, like John Kent is like driving around with a truck trying to lasso Clark as he's like flying around uncontrollably. And all sorts of stuff like that. The entire time, it's not keep your secret identity. It's oh my God, are you okay? Like I care about you because you're my kid, and the sort of things like he wants to protect his kid, but it's not at the expense of others.
Yep. And it's constantly throughout every good version of Superman. That when Superman is pushed to his limit, not physically, because if you're writing Superman well, you never try to push Superman to his physical limit because it doesn't work.
Well, also it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't fucking work. If he doesn't have a physical limit that you can push him to, his entire thing is effectively he generates goddamn powers out of his fucking ass when needed.
Well, that's the reason why one of the most poignant issues of Superman got made into an episode of Justice League Unlimited, and it's hands down, in my opinion, one of the best written Superman stories of all time. It's for the Man Who Has Everything, written by Alan Moore.
Oh yeah, I like that.
The Black Mercy. It's essentially this alien creature that latches onto someone and then incapacitates them by giving them visions of an idealistic future, like an idealistic life,
perfect world.
Your perfect world, yeah. So it attaches to Superman, and he starts envisioning a Krypton that never blew up, and he was able to live with the Jor-Els, and
somehow he married to Lois Lane.
Idealistic. Well, yeah, it's there's all of this, stuff, and then it attaches to Batman, and in his vision, Thomas Wayne beats up Joe Chill, and he never shoots his parents, so he lives the rest of his life without his parents dying, and stuff like that. And it's an idealistic representation of Superman, and shows that he has limitations that are beyond the physical ones. And it makes him a deeper and more interesting character.
Yep, and throughout when he is written well, one of my favorite things is that he will often have a moral issue that he's kind of had his brain fucked over because there's arguments to each side and he's trying to figure out how to do the right thing.
Yes, Injustice is a good comic book.
No, I think one of his best lines comes from the Justice League Unlimited, The World of Cardboard. His best speech ever. It's I have to hold back every time I fight, and I can never cut loose because my full strength will kill a man.
Well, there's a movie where he does that speech as well, and I'm trying to remember what it is. It was Superman versus
Darkseid.
No, it wasn't that one. There's one where it's a group of ridiculous.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the I know what you're talking about where he beats them by not beating them. He goes all out, but he still saves everybody.
Yep.
And he looks like he goes nuts and he stops at the very end.
Yep. So it's the group that is ridiculously powerful because they've been assembled to be the answer to all the problems of the Earth, effectively. So there's a ridiculously powerful psychic character who has telekinesis and can read people's minds. There's someone who's able to redirect energy and all kinds of shit like that. And each of them has a very specific power, and it's extremely strong. And they start out trying to make the world view Superman as completely superfluous, then a danger, and then evil. And the entire time they're dialing up in the fucked up shit that they're doing, and Superman realizes what they're doing. And the psychic is the one that's in charge of the team, and he's trying to push Superman past the point of no return to prove that they're better than Superman. And then it's Superman as he starts taking them out after just being wailed on for an extended period of time and seemingly snapping. He starts doing the speech to the leader after taking out everyone else, going, I've always had the ability. I've always had everything at my disposal if I wanted to kill people. Yes, Superman versus the Elites. That's the one.
All right.
And it's a fantastic speech where he's just extremely goddamn intimidating as he's doing the speech. Where
he had the bloodshot eye.
Yep. He had the bloodshot eye because they tried to cause him to have an aneurysm.
I love how he takes out the leader. He literally does a laser eye scalpel of the part of his brain, giving him his powers.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I remember that one.
It's a great moment, but yeah, he avoids harming people throughout, which is very Superman. But the thing that I was going to say is Superman, when he's well written, there's often that scene of he doesn't know what the fuck he's supposed to do. So he decides that he's going to call for help. And he decides that he's going to call the most moral person or people that he knows.
His parents.
And there's that moment of, oh, is he going to call Batman? Batman's extremely moral. Is he going to call so-and-so? They're extremely moral. No, it's always the Kents.
It's always his parents, yep.
And
that's in Justice League Doom, too, because you had fucking Darkseid shows up at Kent Farm.
Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful moment of that is who Superman is. It's one of my favorite lines from the Kents is when Superman is saying that he wants to give Clark Kent a win. And Ma Kent goes, Clark, you are Clark. Every time that you save someone, you're giving yourself a win.
So the line was delivered in Kill Bill Volume 2 when he goes, you're not Beatrix Kiddo. You're Clark Kent is Superman is the disguise. It's Clark Kent. You're Clark Kent. Just like Beatrix Kiddo is the disguise, you are the bride. You know, and that's
Superman,
who he is.
Superman is Clark Kent, and Bruce Wayne is Batman. That's how that fucking works.
Yeah, it's the inversion. Bruce Wayne is the disguise, while Batman's the man. However, Superman is the disguise, and Clark Kent is the real person.
Which is why,
and I think that's why Batman tends to be a more poignant and easily written for character. Is because Batman has sacrificed his life, his normal life, to be the vigilante, whereas Clark Kent is. Whereas Clark Kent is becoming Superman because it's a nice thing to do.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
He had the power, so he should use it responsibly.
Yeah, that's the thing. And there are moments in older comic books that they absolutely get this. The one that most people point to when it comes to this is Wonder Woman lassos each of the others effectively and asks who they are. And she lassos Superman, and Superman says, I'm Clark Kent. She lassos Batman. I'm Batman.
Yeah.
It's something that people will make jokes of constantly, but that's what it is.
Yeah. And like I said, I think that's probably the reason why Batman is a much easier character to write for. Because I think Superman has the potential, but I think a lot of people have a fundamental misunderstanding of how to write the character or what the character is even all about. And so therefore they go at it from a wrong angle, or it's just meant to be mindless, this is Superman fighting werewolves. So it's like at one point you've got dumb entertainment, but there's far less poignant stories about Superman. And what really kind of sucks is that there's some times where a really good poignant story for Superman comes at Superman's expense. Like I said when you started out there, Sanguine, Injustice is a very good comic. And that's the one where, and you see a natural
when he breaks.
Well, you see a natural progression of how Clark Kent, as a good man, can be twisted into being something horrible.
Yep.
And it's purely based around like the idea that anyone can have that sort of thing, and their life just crumbles around them, and they lose it.
And
that is a combination of the Killing Joke, the one bad day.
The one bad day. Yep.
And that's what I was saying earlier, where if you know the character, if you actually understand the character, then as you want to change them, you can figure out how to change them. You have to understand who Superman is, who Clark Kent is, to know how to break him like that. You have to understand a character to be able to dissect them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the things that if you want to know what a superhero is really about, oftentimes look to their main antagonist. Because you look at Superman, and Superman's primary antagonist, the antagonist that is his quintessential antagonist, Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor doesn't have the power. Lex Luthor is very much the ends justify the means.
Yep.
And he has a shit ton of things working for him, but he doesn't have the power. And he's very much humanity comes first. And I'm going to prove that humanity can treat with ridiculously powerful entities on level, if not superior footing.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the thing, is that I think Lex Luthor is like one of the most sympathetic villains. A lot of people like to put a lot of lay a lot of stuff on Batman's villains.
Yep.
No, most sympathetic villains forever will be Mr. Freeze. Like, Mr. Freeze isn't a villain.
Wow.
No, he's not a villain for the sake of being a villain. He has a mission. He wants to save his wife. And if Batman truly wanted to neutralize him as a villain, he'd fund his fucking research. He had no reason to do shit.
There's a bit more about Mr. Freeze than just that. I mean, Nora Freeze and the whole story with that, it's an incredibly tragic backstory. But Mr. Freeze's whole story is about how the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Now, there's a lot of characters like that, especially in Batman. Harley Quinn is one of them as well. But the idea behind that, I think, gets muddled in the fact that Mr. Freeze has such flexible morals that he doesn't care about anyone else's life. For some of the character progression with that, I think they've written Victor Freeze knows that he can never save Nora. Like, even though she's cryogenically frozen, all that kind of stuff, he knows that he can't bring her back. So, I don't know, that's a little bit more of
what was it, Frozen World? I think with the Frozen World where he does, but he fucking destroys the planet to do it.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. So there's some interesting, stories to be told with Mr. Freeze, but I don't know. In terms of like the sympathetic villains, though, the reason why I think Lex is so understandable is because I think everyone can get behind the idea that if someone shows up and they're flaunting all of this power, a very natural reaction would be, well, what if you use that power against me? I would want to be able to defend myself. And that's a very natural and human reaction. Yeah, so I think that when Lex is written well, that's exactly what comes across. And it's very understandable.
Lex Luthor is a fantastic villain. Again, when he's written well. There's a lot of people that write him very poorly because they don't understand him just like they don't understand Superman. Yeah. And it just goes to shit. It's kind of like how if you're looking
at
Marvel,
some though.
No, obviously the best Lex Luthor loves Jolly Ranchers.
Oh,
no,
God,
it's cakes.
fucking
It's 40 cakes.
fuck Jeff Eisner, or whatever the fuck he was. He was terrible, Lex Luthor.
But no, the major thing about Lex Luthor, in terms of, like, in my opinion, one of the pinnacles of Lex Luthor writing, is the story where it's Batman and Superman Most Wanted. It's where Lex Luthor like gives up his life of crime, so to speak. You know, I'm saying it in air quotes. And becomes the president of the fucking United States of America.
And he does a good fucking job.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, one of the very first things he does, though, is he outlaws vigilantism and heroes and superheroes. So then, like, it's the entire, weight of the United States government versus Superman. And he's like, what can I do? Right? I'm here to help people, but if they say that I can't help them and it's criminalized, then, he also wants to follow the law, right? Batman doesn't care. He's flying in the face of the law. He's taking. Yeah. He is himself judge, jury, and executioner.
He's when the law falls short. Who's there to stop?
Yeah, exactly. And Batman is perfectly fine going beyond that, but Superman isn't. So that's the reason why that's such a good. Yeah, that's such a good story.
Yeah, and there's other villains from other things that get the same sort of feel as Lex Luthor when he's well written, when they get well written as well. One of the normal ones that I would point to is Marvel. Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom has a lot of the same, I'm doing this for this reason.
I'm doing this to help my people. Like, fuck everyone else. Yeah. My people come first.
Yep.
And see, that's the thing is that, like, again, this is my bias showing here is, X-Men. I'm like, I don't know much about Doctor Doom, but it seems to me like Doctor Doom is a fairly simple character. It's the fact that he's jealous of Reed Richards, and he's been now given the power of a nation.
Well, no, in the beginning, it was, again, always, I'm doing it for my people. And when he was the king of Latveria, all they could do was just fucking send him back home, and he'd come right back. Like, because he had diplomatic immunity. What fucking could they do to him?
But both of them have an element that I always love when it comes to writing villains. And it comes in if you know what the villain's motivation actually is. When you have a villain that their motivation is, I want to rule this group, or I want to control this or that, or I want to prove that humanity is able to stand toe-to-toe with fucking anything else, and then you have a bigger evil that comes in and is threatening everything, and they show up to the heroes and are like, okay, so what are we doing to kick its ass?
Yeah.
I'm fucking here.
Like Lex Luthor versus Brainiac.
Yeah.
Brainiac's a bigger threat? Yeah, we gotta deal with this shit first.
That was one of the ones that I brought up, was it last week or the week before, where
I think it was last
one
week.
of the times that Brainiac was trying to do his shit. He had tricked Lex Luthor at the very beginning to make Lex Luthor think that he had created Brainiac. And then the moment that Lex Luthor realized, I didn't fucking make you. You're an alien. Fuck you. And just immediately turned around from, okay, yeah, I'm working with this thing that I made. It's the result of humans, to, this isn't a human creation. It's an enemy. Fuck this. And it was...
Well, my favorite for those kinds of characters, though, is certainly Magneto. Magneto is hands down one of my favorite Marvel characters in that regard. Because Magneto may be a mutant supremacist, but when he realizes that, say something is, threatening the entire planet, he'll sit there and say, okay, jump in and help. Look. Yeah, he's like, look, okay, Charles, we can work together here and stop this threat.
You can't threaten this planet. This is where I live. Fuck you.
Yeah, this is mine. It's like, well, okay, so Homo sapiens superior is threatened here. It doesn't matter if that we're enemies. We're working for a common good, because we're all Homo sapiens.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if it's Homo sapiens sapiens or Homo sapiens superior.
Yeah, and it's shit like that I love when there's a villain that is written like that. And this happens in a bunch of different things. There's one of my favorite D&D stories that you'll find floating around the internet is the ridiculously powerful lich that wants to control the world. Something is coming to destroy it, and the lich just kind of shows up to the party and goes, "This is my world to rule. They're trying to fuck with it. I'm here to help." And the party's just like, "Oh,
okay."
Well, I will say that there is one caution about that though. While those stories can be good and often are, it opens the door to something I think a lot of bad writers like to rush through with no regard to. Well, not just the redemption arc, but then now because of that, this character is now a hero.
Yes.
Or did they? Well, that's not even a bad thing in itself. Like, look at Namor. When he first came up, he was a villain. And then, oh shit, like, there was a bigger threat. Fuck. And then it became cold. They became Cold War allies. All right, this threat is bigger than the both of us, and we need to help each other. And then eventually, over time, he became a friend. Sort of like Galactus, he became a friend at some point. All right, and a bigger threat.
I think that the heel turn should be extremely rare.
Or the face turn.
Exceedingly rare.
It should be rare, and it has to be fucking earned. That's my point whenever it comes to characters. You can do damn near any change when it comes to how the character reacts to shit, but you have to earn it. And you want to take someone who they're known for being extremely confident, you have to break them. You have to break them slowly. You have to break them routinely until that is beaten out of them. And you have to do a damn good job of it in order to make it work. But you can take a confident, noble character and have them damn near pissing themselves when someone enters the room. Just you have to be willing to do a fuck ton of work in order to get them from where they are to that.
Yeah, I think that the opposite is probably a little bit less less difficult. A face turn is probably a lot easier to do than a heel turn because a face turn I think is always
one bad day.
Yeah, well, you can make a fairly interesting what if scenario with a face turn. The big thing about it is that a lot of people are a little too afraid to do a side story sort of thing. DC did this a number of years ago, and they were fantastic at it. They're way better than Marvel at it, even though Marvel tried it as well. DC had the Elseworlds imprint, where they would tell just weird ass random stories that didn't really fit into the canon, but were cool side story sort of things. Like Gotham by Gaslight is an Elseworld.
Really good one.
Yeah, and it's great. Yeah, even though Mark Waid is a piece of shit. That's a really good story.
And that's when you can do shit like, what if the person that found the Green Lantern ring was fucking Batman? And you can do shit like that and figure out, okay, what would that do? Or the classic example, since we were talking about Superman earlier, what if Superman didn't land?
Red Sun. What if he landed in Russia?
Talking about Red Sun? I was saying, or are you going Flashpoint Paradox?
Oh no! How many other stories is Sanguine gonna try and bring up?
I was gonna say because you got if we're going on this, then Flashpoint Paradox, my guy.
Shit, I just recently watched a fan film of Red Sun for Red Sun.
Yeah, there's a shit.
Red Sun's good.
There's a shit ton of them where it's Superman ends up somewhere else, and some of them have Superman slowly kind of becoming himself again through the story. Some of them have him never becoming the Superman that we know. Some of them have him becoming more of an anti-hero, a villain. There's a bunch of different ways, because Superman's story isn't an alien who was innately XYZ. It is a person molded by their environment.
It's a nurture over nature,
I think one of my favorite Supermans is, what if Superman isn't an alien? Like, everyone on Earth has superpowers, but he doesn't. Like, I can't remember the name of that story. Like, he gets an exoskeleton.
The major thing that I'll bring up is Flashpoint Paradox. Are you guys aware of that one?
Yes.
Yeah, so it was when DC decided to do its big old reboot. That one for Superman, instead of his space pod landing in the middle of Kansas, it lands in the middle of Metropolis, destroying the entire city. And so he grows up like living in a bunker, like sealed away from the sun by the government.
Yeah. Isn't that the one where there were the lines between Themyscira and Atlantis, and they take over the surface?
Well, what it was is that there was a war between it, because Aquaman had an affair with Wonder Woman. Then Mera saw that she was getting cucked and challenged Diana to a fight, and Diana beheads Mera. Yeah, beheads Mera, and then now Arthur was forced to declare war against Themyscira.
And there's a shit ton of interesting stories that you could do. One of them that I believe they've done it a couple times, but it's one that is interesting when done well again. Superman loses his powers, so he still has all the same reflexes of someone's in danger, I need to save them, but he has none of the power.
Let's say one of my favorites for that is actually a big crossover, DC and Dark Horse Comics. It's Superman versus Alien. It's like, Superman versus a xenomorph. What happens is that they discover this lost colony of Krypton, and Superman goes out there to intercept it and meet the Kryptonians. Problem is that he's so far away from the yellow sun that his powers start waning. And so he's fighting xenomorphs as his powers are not as strong anymore. But there's this really awesome scene where a facehugger gets him and implants the embryo, but then he goes out into space and absorbs rays from the yellow sun, and then just coughs up the alien embryo.
Nice. But yeah,
it's pretty awesome. Yeah,
I love stories when it's a hero that has powers, and they don't have the powers temporarily, or they lost them permanently, and it becomes who are they when they lose the powers? And the best way of doing that, to my mind, a good chunk of the time, is they still have all the same impulses. They still have all the same goals. So you would have a completely powerless Superman that would see some ridiculously powerful being, and his immediate response would be, I need to stop it.
Yeah, I need to stop it and protect these people. Yeah.
And he gets handed to him.
And gets fucked up. Yeah. Let's say one of my favorites, again, going back on the fact that I don't completely hate Marvel, X-Men. Genosha.
Yep.
That whole arc.
Yeah, again, you can write amazing stories and change characters through the story. It always has to be through the story, and you have to have it justified through. Yeah, you have to have the character. Have to have the character acting in character. That's the most important part. Is that it's the biggest disservice to a story when you have an established character acting out of character. And that's the reason why I think the biggest casualty over these last 20 years, 24 years at Marvel, has been the X-Men. Because every single X-Men character has been acting out of character since the 2000s. And
there's only one comic book series that I find that I actually kind of enjoyed because the characters were acting in fucking character, and that's Mr. and Mrs. X.
Mm-hmm.
That miniseries was fantastic because Gambit and Rogue were acting like Gambit and Rogue.
But yeah, I definitely agree that there's far too many people, or there's a lot of people that want to make a character have their 180 and they want to have it be done quick so that they can have the character that they always thought was so cool become one of the good guys. And
yeah,
you can have that, but you have to give good fucking justification. You have to build the story to have them have that turn, and a lot of people try to cut corners.
That's the reason why I hate, and I know Polydub and I have had a back and forth about this for so long. That's one of the reasons why I hate One More Day so much. Why I hate that comic book so fucking much. Because it would have been so much more poignant for Spider-Man to accept that Aunt May was dying.
Mm-hmm.
And that there was nothing he could do to save her. But the fact that it was Joe Quesada telling fucking J. Michael Straczynski that regardless of how you get there, the end result must be that Spider-Man and Mary Jane break up. That Peter Parker and Mary Jane break up.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they had already established that not only were they married, but Mary Jane was pregnant. And so by the end of it, he loses not only his marriage and his relationship with Mary Jane, but his unborn child.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is the biggest middle fucking finger to every Spider-Man reader in the universe. And it's purely because he's acting out of character. It would have been so much more poignant if at the very end, after Peter goes through all of this effort, he finally accepts that he cannot save Aunt May and she has to die.
Mm-hmm. No, it wouldn't have been the whole thing. That would have been better. Like, again, he would accept it because she's lived a long life, and he knows that in the end, we all die.
Well, not only that, is that she would want him to live on with Mary Jane, and not sacrifice his life for her.
Yes. Like, it would not make sense and for him to do that anyway. He would be sad, don't get me wrong, but he would realize, hey, I can't, in the end, I can't keep death at bay for her. At some point, it's going to come.
Yeah. Well, see, like that's the whole thing. Is like when it comes down to like the content of the story, like he goes to everyone. He goes to Doctor Strange to try and see if he can like medically save her or mystically save her. He goes to fucking Doctor Doom to see if Doctor Doom can fucking create something that can save her life. And all of these things fail.
Yep.
And in my opinion, the best thing that he could have that could have been written for that story is that if they wanted to make it a tragedy and they wanted to have that result, then what should have happened is that Peter goes to Mephisto. He makes the deal that annuls his marriage to give Aunt May back her lucidness for just a moment before she tells him that he should never have sacrificed that for it, and she still dies. Because that is more of a deal with the devil sort of thing.
Yep.
Yes. And that would be more poignant for a One More Day. But like the way that it's just like a hard reboot is just a spit in the face of the reader.
Shit, you know what would have been even better if Mephisto still kills her.
Yeah, like I said.
Mephisto's the one that does her in.
Yeah.
Like, you made the deal with the devil, boy. I'm the devil.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he doesn't have to honor the bargain.
Like, I honored our deal. You wanted her to live, but I still killed her.
One more day.
And again, I'm going to bring it back to Superman, because Superman, again, is a really good example of this. When it pisses me off the way that Snyder had Pa Kent die, because it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
What made sense was old school Superman movies, when they wanted to have Pa Kent die, he died of fucking cancer.
Or, or a heart attack. Yeah.
Or a heart attack.
Something you couldn't save him from.
Yeah, he died of something entirely natural, health-related.
Yeah,
not
that Superman could not prevent in some sort of way. Yeah.
Not, well, I watched my father die. Oh, that's terrible. How did he die? Did he go with natural causes? No, he got sucked up in a tornado because I refused to use my powers.
No. Yeah. All right.
What?
Okay. All right. This is my thing. Clark Kent is not Peter Parker, and you can't have the Peter Parker through my own inaction. I lost my uncle. I lost my father figure. That does not work for Clark Kent.
Yep.
Yeah. Because Clark Kent would have jumped. He'd have saw his father getting in that tornado, and he'd have jumped in that. He'd have lassoed that motherfucker like Pecos Bill.
Yeah, because again, it's the reason why.
That's actually a really good comparison. I never thought of here. Is that he acts more like Peter Parker than Clark Kent there.
Yeah, the reason why Peter Parker needed that was because Peter Parker was not living up to his potential.
No, he was arrogant.
And
he could have stopped
him not to live up to his potential.
Yeah, he could have stopped him in that moment. In that moment, he could have said when he was running down the hall with the money, he could have stopped him, and he said, "Why didn't you stop him? It's not my business."
Yep. Whereas with Clark Kent is never going to be the "it's not my business" character.
Yeah.
Clark Kent is always going to be the "I did what I could because I could."
Well, I did what was right. Is the major thing.
Even if it was wrong in the end, I still did what I thought was right.
Well, okay, hold on. First off, we got to go right back to, if you want to go the right back direction. It would seem fairly clearly that they did want to do that Uncle Ben moment. That that they wanted to see the sacrifice, so that way this superhero could do what he would do. But you're also right. He knew that he could have just gone ahead and sped through, picked up, his
father, and it'd been done,
and got out of there. And there would have been there's no reason to nobody would have known. Like, that's ridiculous. But you could see that's why they were crafting the story in that direction.
Yeah, but
Snyder, I think, wants to write a Spider-Man story, is what it is.
Write a Spider-Man story, and don't write Superman as Spider-Man, because he does not work as Spider-Man.
Also, caramel
very different character
is very sticky on your teeth.
Did you got some caramel corn, my guy? You're not sharing me? But you better give me some when I get home, man.
Did I say that out loud? Are we live?
Yeah. You bastard.
But there's different characters, and different characters need different lessons. You can't have Superman learn Spider-Man's lessons, because Superman isn't fucking Spider-Man.
And you can't have Superman learning Batman's lessons, because he isn't fucking... his parents can't be gunned down in the middle of the street, because it's not the lesson that he needs to learn.
No. Like, the fact is that the characters are fundamentally different because of, the stories that were written and the way that they're written. So, like, Superman is compelling because he is, the small town farm boy,
the Boy Scout
identity. Yeah, he's like he is essentially a good man who's been given godlike powers.
Yep.
He's not the tragic, vigilante that Batman is.
Again, Batman and Clark Kent are almost the same in a sense, where he was unable to do something to help his father and his mother. Whereas Peter Parker, he could have done something, but it still ended in tragedy.
Yeah, I was about to say, you meant Peter Parker in
Batman. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you said...
Yeah, you said Superman, not Spider-Man.
Sorry,
Batman.
Spider-Man. My bad.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's all good.
But again, that almost is, you could if someone were to substitute those two, backstory, it could work. It honestly could.
Sure.
Instead of losing just both his parents, he loses his father, and spur Batman on to be a hero. And didn't and the same could be done. Well, technically, it's already fucking done for Peter Parker because God only fucking knows where his father and mother are, depending on the canon.
Yep.
So,
but you have those key elements of the characters, and you have to make sure that you're playing to the right character, because not every character needs the same lesson. Not every character can have the same lesson.
yes.
So you have to know who the fuck you're writing, know why you're writing them, and go with that. Don't try to make Batman Superman. Don't try to make Superman Batman. Don't try to make Spider-Man Superman. They are different characters with different motivations for different fucking reasons, and they have different stories and different lessons that they need to learn in order to be who they are.
I guess that's the reason why I really like Green Arrow so much, because Green Arrow's never really had that big of a, radical change. The major thing about Green Arrow, like even in Injustice, or not Injustice, Flashpoint Paradox, the comic book series that was Green Arrow in that is Green Arrow Industries, which is, he's an arms dealer. He's an arms dealer that's providing weapons for both Atlantis and Themyscira.
Nice.
Makes sense.
But yeah, you have different characters need different stories. And you can have a character that doesn't need any lessons. This is something that is fairly common in Japanese writing. There's characters that are called no arc characters. And a good example of a no arc character is one that fucking everyone that has any experience with any anime knows of. Do you know who one of the most common examples for a no arc character is? Goku. Goku is a no arc character. Goku, at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, can be, if you just gave him the powers with none of the experiences of Goku throughout the rest of the story, would still be goddamn Goku at the end.
Pretty much, yeah. He doesn't change much.
I'll say though that Dragon Ball though has, or Dragon Ball Z particularly, has the most bog standard plot. The way that I've always described Dragon Ball Z is bad guy shows up, good guys fight bad guy, good guys lose, good guys leave, train, get stronger, good guys return, fight bad guy, good guys win.
From the couple of documentaries that I've seen of him, that pretty much was the forte of it. It was
was the intention.
Yeah. It was what's it called? A series of satirical. It's not satirical like satire, but a series.
It was the classic shonen anime.
Yeah.
It's literally classic shonen. It's literally classic shonen manga, where the hero. There are times when the hero does grow and change, but Goku does very little because in the end, Goku will always be Goku.
Yep.
Like Goku, at worst, Goku did get some life lessons in a sense. He can't save everybody. There are some villains you can't save, and he realized that when he fought Frieza. But even then,
except he didn't, because Frieza is able to be dealt with as he did in later series.
Well, no, in Z, when he fought Frieza, and Frieza, when he spared Frieza, he had to kill Frieza.
Yep.
He had to you can't, and he gave him some energy. Like, look, I'm giving you just enough energy to survive this blast to get the fuck off planet. Oh well, motherfucker, I'm gonna kill you. And he goes, all right, I guess you're gonna die, bitch. But he
best
realized.
episode.
But
the best episode of Dragon Ball Z is when they got their driver's license.
What did you say?
The driving filler was legit. Yeah, that one was fun.
Like, why are you trying to learn to drive when y'all can fucking fly?
Because beep beep, bitch.
No, that
was the ultimate conclusion of that episode. Is why we only need to drive when I can fly.
No, that's what the fucking instructor acts. Like, y'all can fly. Why the fuck you want to learn to drive?
Again, beep beep, bitch.
Shit, I'm pissed that he stopped using fucking Nimbus.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Dragon Ball Z, as you can probably tell.
It's one of those things that if you like it, you're going to really like it. If you don't like it, it's not for you.
It's not for you.
Yeah.
Like,
there's nothing wrong with a show not being your cup of tea. It's perfectly fine to have that. The difference is that a lot of people, when they are saying, well, this show just isn't for you, it's not because, well, the theme isn't really resonating with me. It's these are all the problems with the narrative of this show. Well, it's just not for you. No, I'm not even talking about my personal feeling on it. I'm saying these are parts where the narrative is broken. This isn't a, well, it's not for you issue. This is the story is fundamentally
makes no fucking sense.
Broken. Which, those are very different things.
That is how I feel about fucking Final Fantasy VII. The story is fucking broken, and I don't like it.
Thank you. Finally, someone is like fucking standing up against Final Fantasy VII. God damn, there's some people that like they treat that game like the second coming of Christ. I fucking hate Final Fantasy VII. The characters are insufferable.
The 7 and 8 are the two most broken storylines Final Fantasies ever. The storyline they're both fucking broken.
I reserve judgment on 8 because I've never played it, but I played 7 and I fucking hated it.
Okay, here's my hypotenuse. Look, 7 and 8 are kind of a testing ground of future Final Fantasies, and when they saw that 7 was very successful, but that's you got to understand that it's also the first 3D Final Fantasy.
Yes.
So, and it is a really big game. Let's be realistic.
Well, see, here's the thing, right? One of the problems I've got with that, though. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
And then with 8, it was like kind of a continuation, and then they also tried to change how the battle was going and adding more things into it. So you could see that they were testing things around, but then 9 came around
and went back to the traditional.
It went
high
right.
fantasy.
Yeah, it was a straightforward story with I guess chibi characters, but a
lot of people hated 9 at first.
I love
9. 9 is a great game.
Yeah, so like now people like 9, but when 9 came out, everyone
9.
Hell no.
6, 9, and 3 are my favorites.
When I heard the world theme song, I was like, dude, yeah, that reminds me of 6. And I was like, this game is awesome. Playing it, yeah, it's awesome. I like it.
Yeah. I'm just saying, when 9 came out, everyone hated it. Like, now, if you talk to people about 9, people look back on 9 and say, oh, it was actually a really good game. But, when it came out, everyone hated it because everyone was still, writing that 7 and 8.
Well, that's what I mean.
And 7 and 8 have their own, like, rivalry, too. Like, people that love 8 hate 7. People that love 7 hate 8.
That's
7
what I mean.
had a major plot hole that never gets addressed. When he's telling the story about the events in Nibelheim from his original position, Tifa never corrects him. Like, I don't fucking remember any of this shit. Like, what the fuck is this? Because she was there. She should have said something, but she never does. And that instantly breaks the story.
Yeah.
She never corrects him. Like, and they never address why she never corrects him.
Okay, so let's start talking about the story of Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. That is a 10 series game, a 10 game series, and I don't have the energy nor the inclination to talk about how convoluted that fucking story is.
Right. So one of the things that you kind of touched on a little bit there, Adam, and one thing I definitely want to bring up because of my utter contempt for the people that still espouse it. A lot of people like to sit here and say that Final Fantasy VII was the first 3D animated RPG ever, JRPG.
Nope.
Ever.
No,
and it's wrong. It's absolutely fucking wrong.
Only because I only say it was first because it was
the first
around the launch with it was the first Final Fantasy game, which was rolling high stakes after 5 and 6 in America.
I believe Wild Arms were the first 3D.
Well, or 4 and 6. Well, but also it was also riding on the fact that the PlayStation just released, and this was such a departure from.
But it wasn't though. It wasn't though. PlayStation had been out for a long time before Final Fantasy VII.
Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, so here, let me just do this.
First
December.
Wild Arms came out before Final Fantasy, and Wild Arms was 3D. It had a 3D combat system.
Yeah, and Wild Arms was also
Wild Arms was the one with the hot native chick, right?
Here's the thing, right? The PlayStation came out on December 3rd, 1994. Okay, Final Fantasy VII came out in 1997. So it took 3 years before Final Fantasy VII came out to the PlayStation. All right.
Yeah.
And in terms of that, okay, so you're saying Wild Arms came out before it, and I'm not saying that probably then it didn't. 96. Okay. So hold on. Let me look up the release date.
There was another one now I think about.
Oh shit! It didn't come out before Wild Arms, but it did. Oh no! In Japan it did. Shining the Holy Ark for the Sega Saturn came out in 1996. That was fully 3D animated.
The point I was making was Final Fantasy just jumping off of the Super Nintendo and gaining the popularity in the US. The reason I believe that Final Fantasy VII took off was because it was launching off of a new system of the PlayStation, which utilized 3D graphics. And again, it was Sony, so there was that push. And B,
it was 3 years old at that point.
I know, but B, also it was a Final Fantasy game that looked a lot different than what you were seeing elsewhere.
Than the previous Final Fantasies. Yeah, absolutely. I get that. And see, that's the thing.
I'm not saying it's the first. I'm not saying it's like, it's just it hit the marks, and that's why because the game.
Well, I'm not saying that you're saying that, Adam. I'm saying that I've heard people say this.
No,
and they're wrong.
No.
they're provably wrong.
No, and I agree with you. The game is, the story is wackadoo. I mean, I like the characters. I like the art.
I don't. I fucking hate the characters.
No, I like
some
the
of
characters.
them, don't like others.
I like the characters in terms of how they play and like they're cool looking. But no, and that's like I said, that's the start of the split where when they want to go like a real serious anime style storyline going. And then 9 was like, oh shit, let's go back to the fantasy stuff and do that. And we're seeing it. You could see it in the games coming forward.
Well, I mean, I think 6 was pretty fucking chimey. I mean, it was all about the destruction of the planet and stuff like that. And you had like the whole like planet being destroyed. You had the floating
6
island.
is the only Final Fantasy where the villain honestly wins. In the end, the villain won.
And now think about how if they were to do a reboot of that, if they were to do it like the Final Fantasy 7, where they're gonna do it in like chunks, or if they
and
just
like an
retell
action
the
RPG.
story.
Oh, that'd be disgusting.
All right. This is my issue with the Final Fantasy remake. If they'd have marketed it as instead of marketing it as a remaster, they market it as a alternate story. I think I would have liked it more.
Because aren't there like time ghosts and shit?
Yeah, like it is a brand new story. You don't. If they would have just kept to the canon events, of everything that took the Final Fantasy VII, the game, and just made that, I would have been more happy. Or if they marketed it as like, oh well, we're telling a different story here. It's not the Final Fantasy you knew.
That was Final Fast Food Advent Chicken.
But again, I still
Are you
didn't like Final
trying to
Fantasy.
get Tyr to like it more by calling it chicken?
fried chicken.
It's fried Kobo.
The major thing for me though is the fighting game, the Final Fantasy fighting game that came out.
Guys,
because I really like the fact that I can beat the stupid out of Cloud with Kefka.
You're talking about Dissidia.
Mm-hmm.
There was another fighting game with Final Fantasy characters. It was called Guys.
Yeah, I remember Guys. Yeah.
That was a fun little whatever the hell that was. Because it had a dungeon crawl aspect.
That game was better made as fucking Power Stone. Just gonna come out and say it. Power Stone was a better game.
Yeah.
Power Stone's fun.
That's like that. That's the thing. I have a lot of contempt for a lot of the people that suck the dick of Final Fantasy VII. Because like the PlayStation at that time was already 3 years old, and the fact that they were able to get exclusively Final Fantasy VII and then Metal Gear Solid meant that a lot of people just completely abandoned any and all like consideration for the Sega Saturn, which in my opinion was the better console.
Well, it was.
I knew that was where you were going with that because it was fairly fucking obvious, and I know you're loving that console.
It was a strategic move, and eventually, Square realized they were fucked because they were locked into Sony, and that's why they had to merge with Tri-Ace, and they became Square Enix.
Yeah,
they get out that deal.
Yeah, well, to be fair, with Enix, merging with Enix, that meant that they had two of like the biggest JRPG powerhouses under one company, Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest.
Yep.
So they had plenty of money to throw at any problem that they came across. And it got them contractually out of obligation to Sony.
Yep, because they broke the deal because Squaresoft no longer existed.
Yeah, it was now Square Enix, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of what they did with Sega and Sammy, which is part of the reason why I think that there's a push for Sega not to develop hardware anymore, even after they abandoned the Dreamcast, they were developing a lot.
I think they should have never abandoned the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast was a great console, and if they'd have pushed it a little harder, it would have fucking worked.
Here's the thing, right? The Dreamcast fucking sold like gangbusters here in America. But a Japanese company doesn't give two flying fucks what sells in America. All they care about is Japanese sales numbers. And the Dreamcast did not sell well in Japan.
I think that was a major fuck up.
It is. It's an absolute major fuck up because they could have focused on the American market. The American market, even for the Dreamcast, was way outselling the PlayStation and like any of those others because the Dreamcast again came out first, And then you had the PlayStation 2, which, don't get me wrong, in America there was this perception of, why do I want to get the Dreamcast and get these primitive graphics when I can wait and get the PlayStation 2, and the PlayStation 2 has a DVD player too, so I can have a DVD player with my console. So there was that stupid perspective, but even then, the Dreamcast still had a lot of edge over the PlayStation because of one of the biggest selling markets that was here in America that did not exist in Japan, which was sports games.
Yep.
There's a reason why literally every single Sega 2K game on the Dreamcast is like $5 if you look anywhere online or if you see it in a store, because they're fucking everywhere. Every single person that had a Dreamcast had at least one sports game.
Yeah.
Thank God for emulation. I can relive some of the glory days of my
Well, I mean,
I've got 2K NFL and 2K NHL.
I've got 2K. I've got all of the 2K games, believe it or not, because I used to troll around the half-price books, and if it existed for the Dreamcast and I didn't already have it, I bought it. I have a ambition to collect the entire domestic library of the Dreamcast, which is about like 260 something games.
Mm-hmm.
I have 95 of them.
I hope you get your ambition.
I'm going to eventually. The major ones are going to be like tracking down the rare ones, like Rival Schools. That's going to be
Project Justice.
Yep.
I remember that game. That was one of my favorite games.
I'll say I'm a purist like that. If it's got the original Japanese name, I'm gonna call it by the original Japanese name. I'm not gonna call it Project Justice because America had too much sensitivity issues when it came to the fact that it was a fighting game about schools fighting each other.
Rival Schools united by fate.
Yep.
Shit, I just found it on Fightcade, and I made.
Rival Schools is on Fightcade? Sweet.
Yeah, it's under Project Justice.
Okay. Well, yeah, I would say Fightcade is like the Dreamcast, the premier Dreamcast emulator. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, they even have fucking Spawn in the Demon's Hand on Fightcade.
Do they really?
Yeah, you looked it up, dude.
I'm pissed that they ain't got Soul Calibur, the good Soul Calibur with fucking Spawn and the guest star.
Oh, the Xbox one?
Yeah. What?
They got Keith David to voice Spawn for that, didn't they?
Dude.
Yes, they did.
We should see if we can play it tomorrow.
Play what? Rival Schools?
Any of them.
Project Justice.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, Adventure did have a weird ass storyline, Rotten Corpse, but the fight scene, fucking when they're lifting him up in the air, made no fucking sense. What the fuck are they bouncing off of? Like, god damn.
So the major thing for a lot of that kind of stuff when it comes down to games on the PlayStation 1, the only game that I'm going to give any consideration to is a game that still holds up, and that's Silent Hill. Silent Hill 1 is still a good game.
They're raping your game because they are remaking Silent Hill.
I've seen the Silent Hill 2 remake, and it's pretty horrible.
She looks chunky. She looks like she's had too many burgers to eat.
It's
frustrating to the American audiences.
It's frustrating because like the Konami is going out of their way to get other companies to make Silent Hill stuff for them, and some of those companies just don't. Going back to the topic that we were talking about for a long time here beforehand, they just don't understand what made Silent Hill so great.
Yep.
And if they're going through and like remaking Final Fantasy, if they're remaking Silent Hill 2, the major thing that they need to focus on is keeping the original story and characters intact and making the graphics and everything else, like the atmosphere, more dark, brooding, and moody. That would be the best possible way to go about doing that. But that's not.
I'm gonna say this now. I think Konami needs to get on their knees and kiss Kojima's ass as much as I fucking can't stand him. Really need to kiss his ass and beg him to come back and fucking continue his Metal Gear series.
Metal Gear? Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm going to come right out and say it. I think Metal Gear is actually... this is coming from a guy that just recently bought the Metal Gear collection for the Switch. And stuff it
is a convoluted mess. I get it.
The Metal Gear games are great as games. They're very fun, mechanically speaking. But the story, the way I describe Metal Gear is that the first time you play it, you're like, wow, this is a deep and really interesting story. Then you go and say, well, I missed all this other stuff. I'm going to go back through and play it again. Maybe I got the Emmerich, the Otacon ending, so I want to get the Meryl ending. The second time you go through and play it, you're like, this story's kind of silly. And then you're like, man, I haven't played Metal Gear in a while. I'm going to go back and replay that game. And then you put it in, you get your third playthrough so that you can get the snake in a tuxedo playthrough. And then you're like, this story's fucking retarded.
Again,
that's what makes it amazing, though. It is dumb as shit, and I love it.
It's a convoluted mess of sophistry and technobabble.
Yeah, that's really what it all comes down to. Is that's a very sophistic story. It's
up its own ass.
It's someone pretending to be so fucking deep, and they're shallow as shit.
This is what it is. It is like Hannah Gadsby doing Shakespeare.
There you go.
It sounds great, but then you listen to it again, you realize, fuck is going on, and then the third time, like, this bitch is insane.
Why the fuck does it sound great to you? That sounds god awful.
If you like Shakespeare, you're gonna give it a try, and you're gonna, this is okay.
If I like Shakespeare, I'm going to find a Kenneth Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh.
What was Laurence Olivier?
Yeah, I'll find someone who has a good voice, is talented at doing the speeches, and I'll watch them. I'm not going to go Hannah Gadsby.
It was just an example, damn. But
Here might be a better example, right? You have Gary Oldman playing Dracula. It's fucking fantastic. And then you have Keanu Reeves playing Jonathan Harker.
Yeah.
He cannot do a British accent at all. He tries his hardest, but it's coming off like a Californian doing like, oh my god, like totally how now, brown cow. So it's all like,
but
it's all in the same movie.
Have you considered every rose has a thorn?
Yeah, right.
And every cowboy has a sad,
sad song.
Oh, god damn it! But again, it is one of the most sophistic and up its own ass, and it tried to give this message about the dangers of war.
Dangers of nuclear weapons is the major one.
Yeah, like we gotta stop the war weapons to save the world as we become more riding. He goes from being this ass of an agent to this ninja.
I'm gonna say this though: Revengeance is hands down one of the biggest redemptions to Metal Gear ever, because that game is already up its own ass. It just decides to go full retard, and it's amazing.
It goes balls to the walls and says fuck logic and fuck practical. Like, how does fucking Rodden stop a Metal Gear like entity from crashing down on his face with a fucking sword?
Well, my favorite bit about that is like just the opening scene of it. He like dissects like 12 Metal Gear Rays. It's like, you do realize, you do remember that Metal Gear Ray was like the final boss of Metal Gear 2, right?
Yes.
And he's just like murking them like they're nothing. It's so funny.
Yeah. See, this is all shit that makes me fucking love Metal Gear. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, the story's
over the top.
silly. But
yo, Batman,
fucking inject that shit straight into my vein. It is 80s action movie, the game.
Well, the way I keep saying is, like, I like Metal Gear because it's a fun game. If you're trying to sit here and say that it is, like, smart, poignant, or, like, Kojima's a brilliant writer, you're fucking retarded.
It's like fucking Death Stranding.
Like I said, again, it is 80s action movies, the game.
Yeah.
The story of an 80s action movie can be absolutely fucking ridiculous. And you still love it?
It is Kung Fury, the video game. That's what it is. It literally is Kung Fury, the video game.
Doesn't Kung Fury have a video game?
Yeah, but this is Kung Fury, the video game for Kung Fury, the video game. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Because again, it is nothing but insanity, and Kojima again. Oh, these lofty goals. I'm a die-hard man. Really?
Yeah, but Demolition Man was trying to make a point about society. Demolition Man's amazing.
Failed. Failed.
It is amazing.
It failed miserably, but it's still a fun movie. Yeah.
Man. The Running Man.
I think the most insufferable part. I think the most insufferable part of Demolition Man isn't literally anything to do with Wesley Snipes or is Dennis Leary. Dennis Leary is the most insufferable part of that whole fucking movie.
Well, Demolition Man.
Dennis Leary just insufferable.
No, I think the fact that Taco Bell won the fast food wars.
That's true. It's like McDonald's is the only one that's open late at night, man. It's, you know, when I get out of work, the only place that's open is McDonald's and that one Mexican restaurant.
But in the future, the actual future, the right future where it's Berenstein Bears, it's Taco Bell.
And 3 shells.
And 3 shells. Yeah.
Yep.
They're not using the 3 shells.
Demolition Man tried to make a point about society. The Running Man tried to make a point about society.
The Running Man. I love the fact that the big, like epic speech that Arnold gives in The Running Man is like, I hope you saved room for my fist because I'm going to ram it into your stomach. It's such a fucking lame line.
I want to bet on the clean-cut white boy.
I absolutely love these movies. And I love them for the same reason that I absolutely love Metal Gear games.
Yeah.
The sheer insanity.
The sheer insanity.
They're retarded. they're like stumbling around, and you're like, oh, look at him, he's trying so hard.
The sheer insanity that sometimes makes a point that you go, oh, that was fair, and then the second after you go, oh, that was fair, you're just going like, oh my fucking god, it got even more insane. It
rips off its pants and shoves 2 fingers down its throat and its eyes pop out. Yeah, and it's like
no. Have you ever seen? I forget what the movie is called. It's the one where Arnold Schwarzenegger played the lumberjack and he gets his daughter taken, who was Alyssa Milano, young Alyssa Milano. I forget, and he killed the guy on the plane, and he put the comment like, don't bother my friend. He's dead tired.
Yeah, wasn't that Commando?
I think it was Commando. And he goes, Freddy, didn't I say I would kill you last? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I lied.
Commando's the one where he throws a pipe through a guy's chest and says, "Hey, let off some steam."
Yeah. Wait. And he lets Freddy go, and it's like, leaves the guy. The woman that's with him goes, so where's Freddy? I let him go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, Jesus Christ! I miss the 80s one-liners.
If you tell me what I want to know, I'll let you live.
You know what one doesn't have a whole lot of one-liners, but I absolutely loved for Arnold Schwarzenegger because it was a pastiche on the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. His Last Action Hero.
Yes. Yep. Where he played both himself and the character.
And the character, yeah.
Yep.
It's great. I love that movie.
It's not a bad movie. Don't get me wrong.
Fantastic one.
Is it high art? No, but it's not trying to be high art.
Yeah, and
I don't need high art.
I am perfectly fine with stupid, silly movies and games. And also, Metal Gear gave us the most American to ever American, and it is that phrase of be the American Japan knows you can be.
Senator Armstrong.
Yeah. They're fucking amazing. I love...
Sources, I made it the fuck up!
Yes.
Wow.
Everything about it is absolute insanity in the best possible way, and I fucking love it because of it. And every now and then, it'll stumble into something that, again, is like oh, that's a decent point. And then the next thing you realize is, okay, so there's a mute girl who's coming on to me and breathes through her skin so she's half naked all the time. I can enjoy
She's
that.
not mute. She just can't speak English because the virus will fucking kill her if she says like more than 10 words.
Yep. Let me click in Camel.
And she photosynthesizes. Yo, Camel.
Yeah.
How's it going, Camel?
Good evening.
Also,
I
you
just
can
got
take
home
her
from
out
work.
with a supply crate. Just got home.
What was
from
that?
work,
Yeah,
Oh,
And-
shit.
just got home from work. Got settled in. Heard you guys talking about Last Action Hero, and
Yep.
that was my introduction to Charles Dance. I loved him as the villain in that movie.
Yeah, he was fucking amazing as Jack.
He was the best part of that movie.
He's a
fucking
good
yes.
actor.
Hold on, because there was two villains in the movie. Which one are you talking about? The
Jack the Ripper.
the guy with the axe?
No, the guy with the fake eye.
Oh, with the fake.
I'm
Oh,
talking about
okay.
Jack the
Yeah,
Ripper.
that guy.
That's Tywin Lannister.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, he was the best part of that movie, and some great ones. You know, like dealing with that mob
you are
boss.
right, yeah.
You do a 360 on me. It's like, no, it's a 180. You fucking moron. If I did a 360, I'd be right back where I started.
Yeah.
Originally, they wanted Alan Rickman for that role, but he wanted too much money.
That would have also been a good shout, though.
So Charles Dance, he was walking around on set with a T-shirt that said, "I'm cheaper than Alan Rickman."
Nice.
Nice.
And see, that's one of the things. When an actor can actually take the piss out of themselves, it's glorious. I love that.
I think the problem with that movie really is like they redid the script. I don't know how many different times. That was a Shane Black script originally.
Oh.
Was it?
So, yeah, I think
Didn't Shane Black
redid it a
also
couple
write the
times.
really shit Predators movie?
No, he did, but he also was in the really good Predator movie.
He wrote the original Predator. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's one of my favorite ones of his.
Oh, that's a great movie. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Fucking Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer. Hell yeah.
Do you know what you would find? Do you know what you would see if you looked up the definition of the word idiot in the dictionary? A picture of me. Like, no. The definition of idiot, which you fucking are. Love Val Kilmer in that movie. I think that's probably my second favorite of his roles behind Doc Holliday.
Yep. I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah, the Val Kilmer's. I don't know. Like Iceman is also really good too. Come on.
He was a one-dimensional character in that movie. Gay Perry.
Yeah, but he's still.
Gay Perry was a fully formed human being.
I like Val Kilmer as Mad Mardigan. He was fucking funny as Mad Mardigan.
I never liked Willow, even as a kid.
Really, I love Willow. That was great.
It never did it for me.
See, if we're talking the ones that I like him the most in, I'm trying to remember the name of one of them because it's on the tip of my tongue and I blanked the moment that I was about to say it.
The Isle of Dr. Moreau?
Super genius makes popcorn in his professor's home.
Oh, Real Genius.
Real Genius.
Yeah, Real Genius.
Real Genius and
Baby Geniuses?
No, Real Genius.
No.
Real Genius.
Real Genius.
Oh, and the Ghost in the Darkness. I loved him in that one.
What was that one where like helping that chick with like she was trying to do like cold fusion or whatever?
The other one that is also an amazing, I think it's Val Kilmer. Top Secret was Val Kilmer, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Top Secret's the other one that is my favorite Val.
Is that the one
Kilmer.
Scribe always quotes? Is like, I know a little German. He's over there.
Yes.
I can't remember if that had that one. It has all these amazing gags, so I think it had the little German line.
Yeah,
in it.
It does, and it also has the visual gag of the anal probe, and it's a jackhammer. It has like a fist and like one fist with a finger out. And so
Yep. And it has the final climactic fist fight where they start on a train, they fall off the train into a lake, they sink to the bottom of the lake while still fighting each other. There's a Western saloon at the bottom of the lake with a bartender and patrons, and they're just fist fight through the Western saloon at the bottom of the lake, throwing each other through windows.
that's one thing of The Saint. I remember watching that one way back when.
The Saints. Good.
Yeah, the Saints a really good one. It also has a really great soundtrack. I remember that being like one of the big pushes for techno music in 1997.
Top Secret's also the one that has the sight gag of.
Wait, he played Blunt Man in Jay and Silent Bob reboot?
I didn't know that. I haven't seen the reboot.
I haven't seen it either, but I was just looking at his IMDb. 2019. Yeah, didn't even know that was a movie.
But yeah, the Top Secret also had the sight gag of the Germans around the planning table. And then the phone rings and the phone comes into focus in the foreground.
You know, one that I really like,
and then you have the German pick up the phone. And it's like a 3-foot phone.
One that I really like
because
that I don't think people have seen that much is Felon.
Felon. I don't think I've seen that.
Nope, I haven't seen Felon.
It's him and Stephen Dwarf. Stephen Dwarf is the main character. Val Kilmer is his cellmate.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like this philosophical serial killer, pretty much. Or spree killer.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys haven't seen it, I'd recommend it. Check it out. That movie, and there's another prison movie called Shot Caller. It's got I can never pronounce his name. He's like fucking Danish or something. Jamie Lannister. He plays the main character in Shot Caller.
Mm-hmm.
And both of those movies have really good actors in them. Like they just kind of pop up here and there. Like, wait a second, is that? Holy shit, is that Jeffrey Donovan? It is. You know.
Okay. Of course, this, because Camel popped on, became an IMDb moment. And I just saw, you know how IMDb will play when you click into a page, it'll show the old advert for the movie that you pulled up.
Yeah.
And then if you keep watching, it goes to other movies. I just saw an advert for one of the old movies that I need to find at some point. The Sword of Sherwood. It looked really fucking good. It's an old movie, though.
I did not realize.
I'm assuming it's something about
20 years old.
Robin Hood.
It's Robin Hood from the 1960s, and it stars Richard Green as Robin Hood, Peter Cushing
as the
Sheriff of Nottingham. Yep.
Nice, Peter Cushing. Hell yeah.
Yep. Niall McGuinness as Friar Tuck. Oh, that's really fucking weird. Niall McGuinness as Friar Tuck, as Niall McGuinness, is the way that it's listed on.
Now McGuinness playing Friar Tuck playing Now McGuinness.
Yes, that's the way that it's listed. It's not Niall McGuinness as Friar Tuck. It is Niall McGuinness, Friar Tuck as Niall McGuinness.
So apparently there's going to be a new Terminator series coming out. It's a Netflix animated series. I'm actually kind of interested. It looks pretty cool because it's animated. It's not, the Terminator that probably like to call the one that was the one where it was like, oh, we're just going to kill John Connor because he's a cis white male.
We're going to kill John Connor and totally fuck over our own lore.
Mm-hmm.
To
be fair, the lore was already fucked up by the second movie.
But it was really fucked up after that.
Yeah. But it's called the Terminator Zero. So, interesting. It looks pretty cool. Looks like the same guy that animated, or the same company that animated Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Okay, I found the movie. It's now in another tab, so I can watch it tonight. Because it looked really fucking good from that advert. Goddamn.
And that's another movie coming up soon that I'm probably going to go see just because I'm morbidly curious and I didn't hate the trailer. Beetlejuice.
Hey, wait, what movie? Oh, Beetlejuice?
Oh, yeah. Are you talking about what movie I was looking at or what movie he was talking about? Adam?
Oh.
Which one?
The one you were talking about.
The one that I was talking about is fucking hell! I just butchered it twice. The Sword of Sherwood. Yes,
it's a Sword of Sherwood.
Swatch and the Swatch.
He dared.
The Sword of Sherwood Forest. It's a Robin Hood movie from the 1960s.
Oh, cool.
I ended up seeing the advert of it because it went to IMDb. It's not well rated at all, but it looked fun.
Well, it's weird that it would be a Robin Hood movie and it doesn't star Earl Flynn.
Especially at that time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It figured it'd be Errol Flynn.
Errol Flynn did have several of them.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, this one is The Sword of Sherwood Forest. And like I said, it looked good just from the advert. But then again, it was that classic advert style, which always looks fucking fun as hell to me. The sword versus sword. Man versus man.
Oh, dude, I would expect at least one claymation monster in there.
Well, the big thing that had me sold was oh god, oh him,
Cushing?
fuck, huh?
What
was it? Cushing?
Cushing, yeah, Peter Cushing as
the sheriff.
The sheriff, yep. Yeah, Nottingham, yeah. I guess that's what had me sold. I was like, okay, I kind of want to see that.
Did the sheriff have a canonical name?
No, I don't think so. I think he was just the honorific title.
Let me quickly double check because I have been doing a go of reading through the Merry Adventures of Robin Hood. Which has... I love the way that some stories have their preface done. And the preface of The Merry Adventures of Robin Hood by Howard Pyle is absolutely amazing. Here, let me pull it up and I'll quickly do a read of it because it is just so fucking good. So, the preface for the book is, "You who so plod amid serious things that you feel it shame to give yourself up, even for a few short moments, to mirth and joyousness in the land of fancy, you who think that life hath not to do with innocent laughter that can harm no one, these pages are not for you. Clap the leaves and go no farther than this. For I tell you plainly that if you go farther, you will be scandalized by seeing good, sober folk of real history so frisk and caper in gay colors and motley that you would not know them but for the names tagged to them. Here is a stout, lusty fellow with a quick temper, yet none so ill for all that, who goes by the name of Henry II. Here is a fair, gentle lady, before whom all others bow and call Queen Eleanor. Here is a fat rogue of a fellow dressed in rich robes of a clerical kind that all the good folk may call my Lord Bishop of Hereford. Here is a certain fellow with a sour temper and grim look, the worshipful, the Sheriff of Nottingham. And here, above all, is a great, tall, merry fellow that roams the greenwood and joins in homely sports, and sits beside the sheriff at many feasts, which same beareth the name of the proudest of the Plantagenets, Richard of the Lion's Heart. Beside these are a whole host of knights, priests, nobles, burghers, yeomen, pages, ladies, lasses, landlords, beggars, peddlers, and whatnot, all living the merriest of merry lives, and all bound by nothing but a few old strands of certain old ballads, snipped and clipped and tied together again in a score of knots, which draw these jocund fellows here and there singing as they go. Here you will find 100 dull, sober, jogging places, all tricked out with flowers and whatnot, till no one would know them in their fanciful dress. And here is a country bearing a well-known name, wherein no chill mists press upon our spirits, and no rain falls, but what rolls off our backs like April showers off the back of sleek drakes, where flowers bloom forever, and birds are always singing, where every fellow hath a merry catch as he travels the roads, and ale and beer and wine, such as muddle no wits, flow like water in a brook. This country is not fairyland. What is it? 'Tis the land of fancy, and is of that kind, that pleasant kind, that when you tire of it, whisk, clap the leaves of this book together, and 'tis gone, and you are ready for everyday life with no harm done. And now I lift the curtain that hangs between here and no man's land. Will you come with me, sweet reader? I thank you. Give me your hand.
I need an adult. I need an adult.
It's a fucking amazing preface to Robin Hood.
It is, but I still need an adult.
But that's why I love when an amazing story is penned by a more than competent writer. Oh, good God, it just flows.
Agreed.
and quickly seeing if the sheriff was ever given a name in this iteration.
I did find in one iteration he did have the name. It was in the Robin of Sherwood, and his name was Robert de Renault. Renault.
Yeah, I think this one keeps him as
just the sheriff.
Just the sheriff.
And the Prince of Thieves, his name was said to be George.
Yeah.
So I guess he doesn't have a canonical name.
Well, it's because it's argued over when the stories of Robin Hood are to take place.
Mm-hmm.
It has become a commonplace now that they take place during the reign of the Plantagenets.
Okay.
Typically, during the reign of Henry at the beginning, Henry II, and then ending off throughout the brunt of it during the stewardship of John Lackland, while Richard is off campaigning
in the Crusades.
From this day forth, all of the toilets in England shall be known as John's.
No!
Look on the bright side.
Why the land gotta be black though?
We didn't land on Sherwood Forest. Sherwood Forest landed on us.
Eventually,
it worked the blade and saddles. Mm.
Eventually, Latrine is going to get the name John. Then
you changed your name to Latrine?
It used to be Shithouse.
Good change. Good change.
Yeah, and then
hey Blinken. Did you say hey Blinken? No, I said hey Blinken.
In the future sense, you'll get a fancy French name like Boudet.
Mm-hmm. But is
that French? I don't think so.
Now I'm trying to remember the origin of it.
I don't know. Water up the ass.
Okay.
I mean, that's what it is, right? That's the origin.
But yeah, bidet should be French origin. At least the word is French origin.
Well, it sounds French.
I believe it's bidet.
Oh, bidet. Yes.
If French actually pronounced the last few letters, yes.
The bidet. Do not mistake it for a baguette. Ooh, I'm gonna make a name for myself. Oh no.
But the French, just like in many of their wars and their words, also give up partway through.
Nice. I see what you did there.
Yep. But okay.
No, I said, what's the French symbol for victory? A white flag.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit. I just realized the time. Does anyone have any topics that we want to launch into, or shall we do our parting words?
I'm getting a little sleepy.
Sounds like parting words, then. Everyone in agreement?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I don't know. He said EBs, and now I'm thinking EBs.
So that's 2 in agreement.
I mean, we can continue, and you can listen to ASMR of
the soft
me and Tyr snoring.
Tyr
Yes,
and Adam.
Yeah. The soft, subtle sounds of our snoring voices. Yes.
Yeah, how'd you like that in stereo?
Yes. And no, and 100% minion vision.
Ooh, there you go.
And when you said that you needed an adult, Cannibalistic Wizard responded, I am an adult.
Are you, though?
I need a better one.
I need a better adult. I need an adultier adult.
Yeah.
Super adult. Adult level 2.
I need an elder adult. Yeah, there we go.
Who wants to give their parting words first, then?
If you're passionate about Sanguine, devour him. Don't let him devour you.
Who's next?
Oh shit. Oh, that alarm means I must go now.
Holy
My
shit,
home
Sanguine
planet
dropped
needs
out.
me.
What are we going to do?
Oh no!
Infinite scream.
That alarm was my final words.
Oh, shit. Thank you, Sanguine. You're back.
Yep, I fell out. So who's next?
I'll go next. Thanks for having me, Sanguine. It's always a pleasure hanging out and chatting with y'all. It was fun chatting with everybody on the panel, and yeah, look forward to chatting with you later. Love you all. God bless.
Yay.
I guess I'll go.
Who wants to go next?
There are two types of people in this world: those that can extrapolate from incomplete data, and
Nice. So then we're just leaving off with Inquisitor.
I don't hear any beeping in the background. Maybe he's muted.
He is muted.
Yep.
There's only 10 types of people in this world. People who understand binary and those who don't.
Nice. And I'll leave off with, this is life, and I will not lie by saying every day will be sunshine. But there will be sunshine again. And that is a very different thing to say. That is truth. I promise you, you will be warm again. And with that, have a good night, all. The zoo is closed.
Good night.
Night, all.
Night.
You gonna say good night, Camel?
Fuck off.
Good night, Camel.
Good night, Camel.
Good night,
And
Cam.
now, I click this, and it takes a couple